How's it going everybody? Hope you're all doing alright, and welcome back once more to the channel, where today I'm bringing you something a little different. Now, since starting the channel, I've tried to support indie game developers, and I've covered a ton of smaller titles in the hopes of bringing some well-deserved attention to them, but I recently received an email about something called the Game Development World Championships, and this seemed like a great opportunity for me to promote some of the great indie game developers out there. Now, if you've never heard of the Game Development World Championships, it's basically an annual competition where game developers from all walks of life come together and submit the games for people to play and judge. The competition runs throughout the whole year with various categories such as Pro, Hobby and Fan Favourites, which has a weekly vote cast for it, and then at the end of the year they have the final votes to crown the top 3 titles in each category. Now, if you want to find out more about the competition, or if you yourself are a developer and want to submit your own game, then you'll find a link to the GDWC website in the description box below. Joining the site is free, and you can also enter into competitions to win some awesome prizes, so I highly recommend checking it out if, like me, you want to show your support for these indie developers. So the main focus of today's video is to highlight the GDWC and a few different titles which have been submitted to the competition, and I'm probably going to publish a few of these videos over the next few months. I want to make it clear though that this video isn't sponsored in any way, and I'm not getting paid to promote the GDWC, but I have received a game key for one of the games which I'm going to showcase today. With that said though, let's get on into this roundup and take a look at 4 great titles which have been submitted to the Game Development World Championship. So first up, we have one of my highlights of the year, and the first game to get a 5-star rating on the channel. Project Starship X is a fast-paced vertical scrolling shmup which showcases some awesome pixel visuals and some incredibly unique gameplay mechanics which set it aside from other games in the genre. Combining classic shoot-'em-up action with a unique dash attack and some bullet hell style boss battles, Project Starship X offers an excellent gameplay experience to fans of the genre, but what's even more impressive though is the fact that it was developed by a team of only 2 people, with Mateo from Panda indie game studio collaborating with Sino Ryu, the composer of the game. Now, Project Starship X features 14 levels which are randomly selected for each playthrough, and this alone adds a great amount of variety to the game. As you get further into it, new levels are added, giving you a real sense of progression, but one of the most interesting aspects of Project Starship X have to be the mad events. These are a kind of mini-game challenge which occur at random as you work your way through levels, and they serve to add even more variety to gameplay, challenging both your reaction speed and shmup skills in general. Now, I had a really great time playing Project Starship X, and I love the creativeness of the devs and all the little pop culture references that they tucked away in the game. You have things like Mario themed levels where you enter pipes into side areas and get to kick shells into enemies, xenomorphs from aliens who appear out of nowhere and charge at you, and a tank-like vehicle that you can hop into similar to the ones found in Metal Slug. Overall, the game is a fantastic example of a shmup done right, and you'll find a link to both my full review of the game and the GDWC entry for it in the description box below. So the next game I want to highlight today is a drastic change of pace from the hectic action orientated gameplay of our previous title. Developed by a 3-person team, what comes after is a story-driven side-scrolling adventure game in which you play as a young girl who finds herself on a train populated by spirits. Throughout the short hour or so journey, you get to chat to each and every one of the spirits, learning about their stories, hopes and fears as they ride the last train to their final resting place, and the game mixes some light-hearted humour with a deeper, more meaningful story about the fragility of life and the actions that humanity has on the world and its occupants. Now, while there is no action in the game and it plays more like a visual novel than anything else, I still enjoyed the short but touching gameplay experience that What Comes After had to offer, and fans of narrative driven games will no doubt find this one to their taste. I also love the visual style of the game, and I really liked the humorous conversations that you get to have with the various plants and animals aboard the train. Now, as with the previous title, I also published a review for the game which you'll find linked below, alongside the GDWC listing for it. Our third title today is another absolute gem of a game called Sunblaze, which I actually reviewed not so long ago on the channel. Taking its influence from the likes of Super Meat Boy and Celeste, Sunblaze challenges players to jump and dash the way through hundreds of brutally difficult levels, where one slip up or mistimed jump will see your poor little character splattered like strawberry jam. Now, despite its similarities with these iconic titles, Sunblaze also stands aside from these games with the creativeness of its level design. Rather than just throw a bunch of deadly traps at you and ask you to navigate your way through them, levels in Sunblaze also have an element of puzzle solving to them, which forces you to stop and think about how exactly you're going to reach the exit portal, and so precision platforming alone won't be enough to get you through them. Now, the game features a total of 6 chapters, and each of them introduces a new set of traps and gameplay mechanics, which really works to keep things fresh and persistently challenging. There's also a bunch of collectibles to find scattered throughout each chapter, and these unlock a set of advanced levels, which, believe me, should only be attempted after you've mastered Sunblaze's movement mechanics. One great thing about the game though is that it also includes a bunch of accessibility settings, which allow you to make the game easier by enabling things like unlimited jumps, dashes or invincibility, and this is great if you get stuck on a certain level or just really wanted to play the game but thought it might be too difficult for you. Now, Sunblaze is definitely one of my games of the year, and I thought that the 4-person dev team at Games from Earth did a fantastic job with this one. You'll find a link to my full review of the game in the description box below, alongside the GDWC listing for Sunblaze. So our final game in today's roundup is called Mundaun, and it's one that instantly caught my attention when I first saw it on the eShop, but sadly I couldn't find the time to cover it with a review on the channel. And I just want to say a quick thanks to the GDWC team and developer Hidden Fields for providing a key for the game for this video. Now, Mundaun was produced by Swiss illustrator and programmer Michel Zielger, the founder and sole developer of Hidden Fields. It's a horror adventure game whose story follows the journey of a young man returning to his hometown in the Swiss Alps to investigate the mysterious circumstances behind his father's death. But on arrival, something seems incredibly off about the place, and before long he starts to experience terrifying flashbacks and encounters with some kind of demonic presence. Now, I absolutely love the visual style of this one. Every element of it has been hand penciled by the dev, and it really works wonders to add to the overall unsettling nature of the game. Unlike a lot of modern horror games, Mundaun doesn't just rely on jump scares to frighten players, and the horror elements are more akin to the slow-paced creeping terrors that many Asian-produced movies and games deliver, rather than the in-your-face horror that typically defines Western horror. Now, Mundaun is a bit of a slow burner, and while there are elements of combat in the game, these are not the main focus, and it's primarily story driven with plenty of exploration and narrative to get stuck into. If you're looking for a game with a dark and intriguing plotline and enjoy a spot of puzzle solving, then I highly recommend giving Mundaun a go, and you can check out the GDWC listing for the game in the description box below. So that about wraps up this first Game Development World Championship video, and I really hope you all enjoyed it. I know it's a bit of a diversion from my usual content, but like I said, I'm always looking for opportunities to highlight the works of smaller indie game developers, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to do exactly that. Now, all of the games featured in today's video are available on Nintendo Switch, and if you want to join me in supporting these devs and the great work that the GDWC team does, then I encourage you to visit the links in the description box below and sign up to the site. I'll probably have another video out next month showcasing a bunch of other games, but until then, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the video and whether you'd like to see more content like this on the channel. As always, I encourage you to hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel to keep up to date with my latest reviews and content. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.